that is about the patents. Okay, so main things that you need to keep it you have to consider while preparing the patent document is you have to do the patent search first and find out all the references, and then you have to even prepare all the documents which I have mentioned. Okay, and then start filing and log into that particular portal and upload all the documents and pay the fees. Okay, that is the process for the patent filing procedure. Okay, so once you file the patent application, okay, so there will be a publication stage, and then there will be examination stage, and last based on the examination, if your invention is meeting the patentable criteria and there is no references which is relating to your invention, and then the patent office will grant, and immediately they will publish in the journal, and the certificate will be issued online. Okay, so they will not be sending any hard copies, that whatever the email you have provided, they will provide the soft copy. They will send the soft copy of the patent certificate to your mentioned email. Okay, so this is all about the patents. Then we will move to the design registration also. So design mainly protects the design aspects. Okay,
Swapna ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have one question in a chat box from the one of the participants, Neetu. The question is, can we file for process patent and product patent in one application form?
Yeah, if product patent too, see, product patent separate and process patent separate. Okay, so one invention, one application. Okay, suppose your invention is relating to a product, then you have to file a application. Okay, if your invention process is also a new, then you have to file a separate application for the process also.
Okay, ma'am. And we do have one more question from Miss Kanchan Khatreja, ma'am. How to generate revenue from patent?
Madam, how to generate? See, filing is one thing, and is using that patent thing is also one more important aspect, because simply filing will not help you unless it generates the income out of it. Okay, so you have to know how to use strategically for generating the income. Okay, for example, I will highlight one of the case that most of us are aware of this lid opening technique, which is used by most of the tin beverages. Okay, so that inventor has taken the patent filing for a patent for that particular lid opening technique, and later they have given to Coca-Cola company and he has collected based on the royalties. Okay, so he has collected per can. Okay, so the royalty based on the sales. Okay, so during the validity of the period, he has obtained more than 1,48 UK pounds a day. Okay, so that is the worth of having the patent. Okay, so after filing the patent, you have to find out who are all the probable means companies who can take up your technology. Okay, so that also you can find out through patent information only, because whenever you work in certain area, okay, so who are all the companies which are working in that particular area, or inventors also. Okay, you can check through that, and suppose any other companies who are in other countries, and they are you can give a you can transfer your technology to those companies also. Okay, so that also you can identify through the patent information. Okay, so better first you file it if you are not commercializing on your own. Okay, so you have to identify the potential partners who can take your technology and commercialize it. Okay. So there are some sites also yet to and there are some other even FAPSI also designed a portal for this exchange of patents. Okay, so there are a lot of sites where you can give the patent information. Okay, and the potential buyers for that, or whoever license who want to take a license, they will approach you. Okay, but as an applicant, as a owner, you have to take the initiative and you have to find out who all the people working in that area, where you can collaborate or jointly develop it, or you can transfer. Okay, so like that you can generate the income out of the patent.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. We can go further.
Okay. I'm very sorry because today I don't know we our institute is celebrating a diamond jubilee, so this year, and all our infrastructure they are doing all whitewashing and all that, so all the wire systems they have been, so that's why there are a lot of disturbance. I'm extremely sorry for this. Yesterday was holiday, so they have made all this whitewash, and they have removed the setups, okay, system setup, so it was disturbed now.
No issue, ma'am, no issue. It's a technology. We know that it happened sometime. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
continuation of the previous question, we do have one more question. So, what are the benefits of the more authors or contributor in patent?
See, as a patent now, patent will be having more worth than the as an author in any of the publication. Okay, because patent you can commercially exploit, you can give a license. So as you use your physical property, you can use this patent also to generate income out of it. Okay, so once you have a patent document, patent right, okay, so you can exclusive produce it, or you can give a license to others to generate income. Okay, so you can collect the royalties. So that is why it is always better to have a patent right. Okay, though you do publications, you and disclose your technology through that, but first file the patent application and then go for the publication. Okay, and now, and most of the, as per the UGC norms also, now it is a mandatory now for the faculties also to file the patents. Okay, so their rating will be based on the number of patents. Okay, so that's why it is better to go for the patent filing.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. There's a one more question from Dr. PC Jaina. How
Okay.
can I realize my innovation or innovative work is to fit for filing a patent, or if any kind of techniques? So he's asking about some kind of techniques.
Just repeat, madam. I can't
Uh,
understand.
sir is asking, how can I recognize or realize my innovation or innovative work is fit for filing a patent?
Yeah, that I said no. So before filing the patent document, you have to understand whether your invention goes for a patent, is worth means is it meeting the patentable criteria or not. That's why you have to do a patent search. For doing a patent search, you make use of this free databases, and even Google also has a Google patents. Okay, and in WIPO also there is a patent scope site where you can search all the patent applications. Okay, so by using the keywords, by using the classification codes, or by combination of this both, you can search the relevant patents in that particular area, and you can see whether this particular type of work is already being done, or whether somebody has disclosed this publicly, or whether they have already filed the patent. Okay, so first you understand that, and you see that whether your inventions meet the patentable criteria. Okay, so first is the novelty aspects. Okay, and the inventor step. Okay, so these two are more mostly important. Anyway, the if it having the utility only, then you will go for the patent filing. Okay, so these two aspects can be known by the patent research. Okay, So always go through the patent documents which is already filed in that particular area. Then you will understand whether your invention can be has eligibility to get the patent or not.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. I hope sir got his answer. We can proceed further, ma'am, if you want, like, wish to
Yes.
add more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll quickly brief about the industrial design and the geographical indication also. I'll share the PPT to the organizers later on, but through this portal only, because already the basics have been covered, so we need to discuss regarding the filing only. Okay, so the industrial design mainly protects the design aspect. So whatever the design that is applied to an article, okay, so for the first time, okay, then only that can go for industrial design registration, and the period of protection is 15 years. Okay, 10 years initially you will get in, you can extend for 5 more years. Okay, so total 15 years you can get the protection. And like patent, for design aspects also, for design registration also, you have to file first design registration before commercializing your product or before disclosing to the public. Okay, so designs that can be original design also and new design also. Original design, for example, maybe Taj Mahal. We know the design of the Taj Mahal, but for the first time I have applied to a flower vase or a table, table, maybe some table holder or any design that is already there, but at first time I have applied that design to another article. Okay, so that are also be protected under industrial design. And new designs also, like furniture designs, jewelry design, textile designs, electronic goods, like we have mobiles, even switchboards. Okay, all these electronic devices also, whatever the design applied, okay, for the first time, that can go for the industrial design. Okay, so the same portal where I have shown for the e-filing, in the same portal we will also be filing the industrial design also. Okay, so I'll be just showing you the I'm sharing my screen. Okay, in the same portal you can also file the industrial design. So can you see the screen?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
ma'am, it's visible.
Okay, so this industrial design, this is a design e-filing portal where you can file the design registration. So I'm just logging it through. For this also the same criteria, before you file the design application, you have to get the register in this particular portal, and there is a guidelines given in this. Okay, there is digital signature guide manual. Okay, so there is also one of the system requirements for filing the design application also. So this is once this login ID is created, you can just log in through this, and you can file your new application. Okay, so this is a new application. And for designs we have the classes. Okay, IDC class, Indian design class, which is provided by BIPO, and they will be regularly updating this based on the new products that is being developed. Okay, so for different products we have different classification. So first we have to identify under which class your application has to be filed. Okay, so like we have for textiles we have 5, and for household items there is class 7. Okay, for packagings and containers the class 9. Okay, for printing and office machinery. So first we have to identify, and then we have to file the application in that particular class. Okay, suppose you are a design you want to apply in 2, 3, like packaging that you use for It can be used for packaging design or somebody some other product also. So first you identify under which class you want to protect, and then give the design, okay, that design class, and then fill all the details. Okay, so for this also there is an ordinary and conventional thing. Okay, so ordinary, first as an for a citizen, you can just file the ordinary application. Just click here and give the applicant name. It can be an individual also, or a company name, or educational institute, any type of applicant. Okay, application address also you need to mention. Okay, country, nationality, and you need to mention the articles also. So there will be a representation sheet, okay, where you need to give the diagrams of that particular design. Okay, so whatever design that is applied to an article will be protected. That's why you have to give the different views of the design. Okay, suppose if it is relating to any textile, okay, so different views of that. Suppose if it is a garment, okay, so that design you have to give in different views. Okay, so and you have to represent in the representation sheet. Okay, so the forms also, before getting into this particular portal, you have to prepare the different forms, and then you have to upload in this. Okay, so there are certain forms which are mandatory. I'll just show it quickly, which I have filed for others, but I'll not go in detail in that, because still it has not been published. Okay, so this I'll just show you one representation. So this is how the different views you give it. Okay, like pictures, it is relating to a transformer. So for you can take a picture or a line diagram, and then you can file the application. Okay, so before that you have to at least have 5 different views of your design that is applied to an article. Okay. Okay, then you have to upload all these things, and then go to the payment. And for fee also 1,000 rupees. It is a very minimum amount, and any SME, small entities, also can make use of this and get the design registration. Okay, so once you file it, you will get this acknowledgement. I'll show how this okay, see this one representation sheet where you can check this. Okay, it's relating to a drawing tool. So first you have to prepare this representation sheet. Okay, different views about that. Okay, so I'm just showing how this different views will be given in this. Okay, I cannot show it more detail because it is still confidential. So I'm just showing it. And other documents, like we require the if it is a company, then we have to give the incorporation certificate. Okay, if it is a small entity, then you have to give an Udyam registration as an evidence for small entity. If it is a startup, then startup innovation, this recognition from the startup portal, that also you need to mention. Okay, if you are filing through a patent agent or attorney, then you have to give this particular document. Okay, so this is a format where you have to show the you have to mention. Okay, so this has to be signed by the applicant. Okay, so this is all the documents that you need to file it before filing this, uploading all the documents in this particular portal. Okay. So once you fill it, you will get an acknowledgement like this. Okay, so like online transfer, and this is a design number, application number, and you can track this particular status by using this particular number. Okay. And for design registration, minimum 1 year they will take, but most of the if we don't have any objections, then it will be granted within 1 year, and the certificate will be issued online, and it will be mailed to your email address. Okay, and here for design registration, you will get the hard copy also. Okay, whereas for the patent only it will be mailed. Okay, but in design registration they will send the hard copy to your concerned address. Okay, so this is about design, and design mainly it can be filed by any applicant, because it is a very simple process. Only you need to have the photographs or line diagrams of that particular design, and you should also identify under which class you have to file this particular design application. Okay, all this will be mentioned in that particular site. Okay, so once you prepare these documents, like representation sheet is a main sheet where you need to give these diagrams of this particular design, and the details about form 1 will be the details regarding the applicant. Okay, so once you prepare it, you upload in the portal. Okay, and then you can sign it through this particular design e-filing, and you can upload it and do the payment. Immediately you will get the acknowledgement. And also there is a public search option where you can see what are all the designs that is applied. Okay, like patent also you can search in this design site also. Okay, so you can also search by company name also. You if you want to see what are all the what are the designs that is applied by a particular company. Okay, but this is specific to the India only. Okay, if you want to see the global designs, there is a global design database provided by WIPO, where you can search the designs applied by different countries. Okay, so that will also be helpful. Okay, so first you do the search and see whether your design can be registered or not, and then you proceed for all these things. Okay, and suppose I'm just giving one example. Maybe I'm just giving the textile. Okay, I want to see what are all the applications that are filed. Or even carpet designs, so we can see all the designs that is applied for textile goods. Okay, so here you see this is filed by an individual. Okay, from Delhi. Okay, so different, even this also this is from, this is also again from an individual. Okay, from Gujarat. Okay, so this is a figure, okay, design that they would like to protect. Okay, so like this we have different things, lot of applications in this particular textile. See, for saris, okay, even big companies, okay, brands, they protect their designs. Like we have Biba and Arolia, or like that very famous garment. Even Fab India also, they protects their designs. Okay, in this particular category. Okay, so this is about the design, and the fee is very less. That is 1,000 rupees for an application. Okay. Um, and then I'll quickly move to the geographical indications also. Geographical indications mainly protects the traditional products like handlooms and handicrafts, and it is mainly helpful for protecting the industrial goods and agriculture goods and handicrafts and handlooms, which are unique, linked with the particular geographical location. Okay, so in here in Hyderabad, we have Halim, which is geographical indication protection. Okay, and we also have Pochampalli saris, and likewise we have different states have their different products. Okay, like West Bengal, they have Rasgulla, and Delhi, they have Agra Peta. Okay, so even food products are also protected under geographical indication. And famous Jaya is the Darjeeling tea. Okay, basmati rice. Okay, so the product, the unique, the product has a unique taste. Okay, so that's why it is given as a geographical indication. Okay, and the main difference between the other categories and the GI is, whereas the patents, industrial designs are given on an individual name, okay, or by to an individual company. But whereas geographical indication, it is a collective right. It cannot be given to an individual. So the whole producers of that particular product, okay, which are working in that particular region, okay, so those thing associations will get the GI. Okay, in the same portal we will get the information on GI also. Okay, so there is a registration process even for like designs. We also have a classification for the GIs also. For food products there is a separate classification. For textiles there is a separate class, and for handicrafts there is separate classification. First you have to identify under which class you have to file, and then prepare the applications in that. Okay, so there is also a guidelines, quick guidelines, which is given. Application fee is 5,000 rupees for GI application, and there is a procedure also, how to prepare the documents, and also what is the procedure involved in that GI filing process. All this are mentioned in this particular document. Okay, so if you want to see what is registered GI, so far there are 600 registered GIs and more than 500 applications which are pending in this particular GI registry. And we have only one office, that is GI registry in Chennai. Okay, that is at Gindi. We have only one office. So the whole India, means all the states, they have to file through this Chennai GI registry only. Okay, and this can also be uploaded online. And the main difference, as I said, it is a collective right. First the association has to be formed, and based on the behalf of association they have to file the application. And while giving the details about that particular product, we have to mention what is the uniqueness of the product, what is the process involved, what is the quality aspects, that the quality of that particular product. Okay, and what is a geographical location, okay, where this product is being produced. Okay, who are all the producers, all this has to be documented, and they have to be filed through this GI portal. Okay, so GI e-filing system, where you need to upload all these documents, and they will do an examination, and based on the examination, if they have any objection, they will report to the association, saying that these are the objections. Mainly the objections are relating to the number of producers, because some producers maybe in other regions also produce the same type of product, but they are not included in the application. Okay, so those type of objections may get. Okay, and even maybe there may be a formality procedures also, where they need to give certain documents as a proof. Okay, especially when the product is having some reputation, okay, some historical evidences. Okay, so for example, for Orissa, we have, Rasagulla also got the GI. Okay, so there was a historical evidence that the Rasgulla was offered to Jagannath ji as a prasad. Okay, so there is an historical evidence, and that document also given as an along with the application. Okay, and even the quality test reports, and also uniqueness about that particular product. Okay, what is the market potential for that particular product, all this they have to mention in a application, and they have to file it. Okay, and GI also it cannot be given to an individual. So there are a lot of government departments which are involved in this for identifying these products, and they have helped this GI product, means this traditional product, to get the GI indication. And geographical indication is given for 10 years initially, and you can extend for n number of years as long as they want to use it. Okay, so mainly GIs will help the traditional products. Okay, and helps the rural development. It also promotes the tourism. Okay, so this GI helps in mainly protecting the traditional arts. Okay, traditional arts and the handlooms, mainly the rural works. Okay, it helps the artisan to generate the income. Okay, so that's why GI is very important for protecting the unique products that may be relating to a specific region. Okay, so this is all about the information relating to the patent, industrial design, and the geographical indication. So as a faculty, mostly this industrial designs and patent will be very helpful to you, and while doing the research also, and also to identify the potential partners. Okay, for getting the leads. Okay, especially if you want to transfer your technology. Okay, or you want to do some joint developments. Maybe you have one technology, other company who are working for a similar product also has some patented technology. You can collaborate and come out with a product with having more features. Okay, so that's how we see a lot of patent pools also, like especially in mobile what you say, this communications, like Samsung has so many patents on different features. Okay, Apple has some different features. Okay, likewise some other mobile companies also, electronic communication, they have different patents. Okay, they form a pool and they use those technologies in their products. Okay, so that's how they can bring up new products with the different features. Okay, so in order to compete in the market, okay, so we have to be very innovative. Okay, so they have to address the needs of the customer. Okay, so for that a lot of innovations are being developed, and they are protected under patents or industrial designs. Okay, so if you have any questions,
Yeah.
please, I'm open to answer all these questions. And even I will be sharing my email ID and phone number. Okay, so if you have any queries relating to that, and any requirement relating the filing also, I can help you.
Yeah, thank you, Swapna ma'am. We do have two questions in the chat box. Uh, there's one question from Dr. Pooja. Why we find most of the patents from the sciences? Why not other
Uh,
disciplines?
See, mainly the patent talks about the science and technology relating products only. There are other categories where you can protect the other works, like especially the artistic works. Okay, it protects under the copyrights. Okay. Whereas this patent is given for the product or the process. Okay, so the products mainly relate to the science and technology, so those are protected. That's why we see the patents in that particular area. Okay, and there are also business model patents where US will be granting the business model patents, but India doesn't grant the business model patents. They are protected under the copyright, not under the patents.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. There's a one more question. Is
In
it?
fact, I'd like to add here, Dr. Swapna, a little bit, because this is a very relevant question, because, we also here, I mean, all of us here on board are from School of Education, and I happen also to look after the School of Humanities here. So yes, this is one, this is one kind of a hindrance where one, feels that what kind of patents one can get, especially into humanities and social sciences. I certainly agree that the kind of design patents that one can go in for, or maybe anything which one is innovating, is a little easier in terms of the thought process, if I say, in the science and technology, even in architecture for that matter, one can move a lot of design patents. But yes, I think now with the new education policy that has come in, which talks of multidisciplinarity, so I think people from education are also working with people with the background of computer science engineering, and people from psychology are working with the STEM field. So I think uh, through collaborative activities, patents are possible. I hope you agree with that.
Yeah,
It's pretty
patent are possible when you come out with as a product. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's why the main criteria is you have to bring out a product that can be used by the society. Okay, so maybe for example, I'll give one example like software. Okay, so software actually it is a subject matter of copyright, not under patents. Okay, because it is a series of logical expressions which are comes under the literary works and doesn't fall under copyright, under patent subject matter. Okay, but suppose the software is embedded in a product, in a device, and that has some industrial application. Okay, so that can go for a patent fight. Okay, so anything if you come out with some new product, okay, so that can go for patent right.
Yeah, agree.
Ma'am, we have one more questions.
Yeah.
Are there any role of non-governmental agencies in filing a patent?
Yeah, there are a lot of firms which will be helping you in filing. There are IP firms, KPOs, law firms, okay, which are which will be doing all this IP filings. Okay, so for filing as an individual, you can file it. Okay, if you know the procedure, if you know the documentation, okay, you can do it on your own. Okay, but because this patent is a skilled job. Okay, patent drafting of a patent is a skilled job. Only the people who are having the knowledge can only do that. Okay, so that's why though you file it, but later on you may get the objections from the patent office that it is not as per the format, or there will be a lot of objections, especially if you want to protect your inventional aspects, okay, thoroughly. Okay, so you have to understand how to put it in that particular document. Okay, so the only people skilled in that area can do that. So you can take the services of this IP firms or any patent agents, and you can draft it. Otherwise, you can also go through the manuals and procedures in that patent office site, and understand how to, what are the different formats which you have to follow, and how you have to present in the patent specification document. And if you know, then you can, if you're confident enough, you can directly file on your own. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. I think in continuation of your answer, there's a one more questions in the chat box from Sandeep Sagarji. the documentation in the process, basically it's so much time taking in
Yes,
regarding the paper.
yes,
So
yes.
is it beneficial to take any kind of external help?
Yeah, because those people will be always in that process. Okay, they will understand actually how to put the information. Okay, first main while drafting the patent document, you have to go through the background of that particular area. Okay, first we have to understand, and then what are all the literature that is already existing. Okay, and also we need to know what are all the close references, and while drafting the patent application, we need to highlight about our invention, how it is different from those references. Otherwise, what the when during the examination stage, the patent examiner may give an objection, okay, quoting the same references. Okay, and then you, that time you need to give an explanation how your invention is different from those inventions. Suppose if you have already done that work, and you have presented in the specification document, it will be very easy for them to understand and give the grant for your invention.
Ma'am, one question again from Dr. PC Jaina. Can standardization of a psychological test by the subject expert be considered as a patent or a fit for filing a patent?
Standardization of psychological test. Suppose anything that you put, maybe how you do it, that you design some software, okay, and develop some system. Okay, I will give one example, that we have means one of the firm has developed a software which can judge the interest of the participants. Okay, and they will that test will help you to understand actually their interest, and based on their interest the skill training will be given in that particular area. Okay, so that was a software that is developed, and they have developed the device also. Okay, so they take the images, they will take the eye contacts when they speak on a particular subject. Okay, so they judge it, and then according to that, this person is fit for this particular traits. Okay, so based on this, based on their interest, you can give skill training in that particular area, so that they will be successful in getting employed, or doing some business in that particular area. Okay, so this is generally adopted in the institutes where you give offer skill training, so that your outcome will be more. Okay, so they have come out with a product, and like a product, and that can be incorporated for conducting for implementing the skill training program. So like that, if you have some psychological that also you have to come out with some product, okay, which can be used by everybody.
Okay. Any panelist, I would like to request any panelist, if anybody wants to ask any questions, it's open for everyone.
So, ma'am, I would like to ask one question. First of all, thanks for this session. Indeed, it was a wonderful session and quite an informative one. Ma'am, nowadays we are saying that crowdfunding of some patents, it has been done. All right. And in case if out of that patent, a device is being constructed, it comes out as a device. So what will be the stake of all the members who were there a part of crowdfunding then on that device?
Yeah, it depends upon the agreement that you make with the different thing. Okay, so whenever you go for this type of things, agreements plays a very important role. Okay, so the contribution they are going to make. Okay, so actually the patent, if it is having a patent, the patent holder will need to decide how to give the benefits to all these things. Okay, so agreement has to be there, legal agreements has to be drafted well in that area. Okay.
Or ma'am, in continuation with that question, does the position plays any role in this thing, or all the positions are same? Sometimes we take the position as 1, 2, or 3 positions. We can see that different kind of amounts they come up for different positions. So is it like it is also
See, I'm not that much expert in that area also, but thing is, suppose a product which is patented, okay, and they are going to invest in that particular product in producing that. So based on it can be based on the sales, or it can be based on the annual income. Okay, they can share the percentage of their contribution. Based on that, they can share it. Okay, but all this has to be documented, means have to be properly placed and make a legal agreement with them. Okay, then only they can proceed.
okay?
All this has terms and conditions. Okay, that share that they are going to give. Okay, all this has to be placed in the agreement.
Ma'am, for instance, if we take a situation, for instance, let us take you as the main contributor who the idea was yours, and you were working on that. You took that patent open for crowdfunding, and we as members, all the faculty members, they come up and we pay the requisite amount which has been put up. And what will be your stake on that particular device, and what will be ours? I mean, publication.
See, that's what the income generated out of it, income generated when it commercially exploited. Okay, so what is the income generated? Maybe you agree to share the among the shareholders based on the sales percentage, or based on the, maybe it can be annual, or maybe once in a quarter. Okay, you are going to share this much percentage. Okay, so that depends how you agree, okay, while doing this crowdfunding.
All right. So it's a matter of how the agreement has
Yes,
what happened.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for all these answer for all these questions. Now, I would like to request Ms. Kanchan Khatreja for the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It is great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on the third day of interdisciplinary FDP program on meaningful research and intellectual property rights. I, Kanchan Khatreja, on behalf of organizing committee, convey deep regards and hearty thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor C.S. Dubey, Pro Vice Chancellor, Ma'am, Professor Pushpalata Tripathi ji, and management for giving us permission to organize such FDP. I thank our distinguished guest and speaker, Dr. V. Swapna, for an enlightening presentation on filing of patents and documentation procedures, industrial design and geographical indication. Madam has very well explained how to file the patents. She has provided guidelines for claim identification and publication types from Indian patent, advanced research system, and geographical indication. She has cleared doubts of all the participants also. We are grateful to Professor Tanya Gupta ma'am, Dean School of Education, K.R. Mangalam University, for constant help and encouragement. Her able guidance has always encouraged us. I thanks ma'am for her continued guidance and support that radiated a source of energy within us. I thank our school coordinator, Dr. P.C. Jena sir, for their motivation and support to organize FDP. My heartfelt thanks to all the faculty members of various departments for their valuable contribution. I also thank all the participants, including research scholars and faculty from various institutions for active participation in this program. I would like to thank our technical team expert, Mr. Dharamveer sir, who support us for the smooth conduction and coverage of this program. Last but not the least, I thank FDP coordinators, Dr. Anshul Saluja and Ms. Manju Kundu for their cooperation in making this program a success. Once again, I thank you all for your attention. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I have shared my contact details in the chat box. Please, anyone, if you have any queries or any requirement, please let us know. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for being with us on this platform. We're really thankful and we look forward for some more sessions,
Okay,
some more
thank you.
time. So thank you so much, ma'am. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, all the participants who